We're taking a look. Futures are rising after a big oil inventory draw earlier from last week. Joining me now is Michael Rothman, Cornerstone Analytics founder and president. Hey, Michael, in the short term, we're dealing with the COVID dynamics. Longer term, there's a structural change. How do you see the oil market?
Well, you're right in the shorter term, meaning the next couple of quarters, we're still dealing with the effects of isolation and containment measures. But the reality is the expectation that the vaccine program rollout will work, that the economy will normalize and oil demand recovers, bodes very bullishly for oil. The other part of the consideration you really have to make note of is that there's two parts of the general equation, right? There's what happens to demand, and then what's going to be happening to supply. And you can talk about it as non-OPEC and OPEC. And the thing that we do expect to play out over the medium term is a much more robust picture for demand and not nearly as robust a recovery in non-OPEC supply. This is why it's so bullish beyond the very near term.
Okay, so let's just take that view for a second and then walk it forward to the Monday, Tuesday OPEC meeting. How do they deal with that, particularly when the market is still very sensitive to their supply management?
So for OPEC, for most of the last 20 years, the game has been about managing oil prices by managing inventories. And the current Saudi oil minister, Abdulaziz, and his predecessor, Naimi, both privately and publicly have articulated the idea that the kingdom wants to see oil inventories pushed down to the 2010 to 2014 average. They saw those inventory levels and the oil prices during that time as, quote, fair and just. Now, it doesn't take a genius to go back and look at what happened to oil prices in those 4 years. They averaged about $102 for Brent, and the Saudi budget that was released actually a week ago has a price that's needed to balance that at 96. So this is kind of their goal. And the reason that you have to work that into a discussion about the OPEC meetings is they are driving this decision to keep restraining output in order to work off the inventory overhang that was built up earlier this year, and then to keep driving inventories down. So the meeting next week is going to be fairly mundane. The discussion is where is demand really versus what we thought it might be, and it's still not at the point where they're going to do a major unwind of quotas. That is literally the simple way of trying to look at it.